Welcome to this latest update on nowRail, and as the title says, version 1.2.1 is now out, and the main changes in 1.2.1 are to do with the Loco controller. I've been able to add some extra features that now allow consisting and the ability to send Loco details from one controller to another. Now, as always, all the latest information is on the Digital Town site. You'll see the link on this opening screen and it is below the video. So going over to the website, if you want to download the latest version, then obviously just go down to download latest version and it will take you to the 1.2.1, which is the current stable release. Now, one thing I'd just like to say about the latest version, there are some people who help me. There are beta testers who test, various modifications that come out. And this month, it's a big thanks to Rob Weaver, because a lot of the updates are to do with the controller. And Rob went through and actually tweaked the interface to make the lettering look a little bit better. Not a quick job. So thanks to Rob for that. Right, let's also have a look at what the updates are this month. So we have a couple of items. One is a modification to the NCE Cab Bus, which I'm going to quickly look at. And then there are some changes to do with extra functions to do with the Locos. So we'll look at the NCE changes first, because that's going to be really quick. Go to the top of the page, come down to the NCE Cab Bus, and you will see down here that there is one change that has been made, and this is to do with defining Cab Bus short address on 0, or it can be a 1 depending on the settings. Now let me explain what this is about. If you have ever set your decoder addresses using DCC, let's just bring that over a little bit better onto the screen, you will know that you can have a short address or a long address. Now, a short address is an address between 1 and 127. I think these are quite often used for consists. But you can have a long address that's also between 1 and 127. The difference is that when the information is transmitted to the controller, one of them sends a 1, a 2, or a 127, whatever. The long address will send 0001, 0002, etc. So if you wanted to have the way nowRail handles things, it just uses addresses 1 to 9999, and this can cause some issues if you want to use short addresses. Now, by default, nowRail sends addresses 1 to 127 as a short address. However, if you are using the NCE system, you can change this function here, set this value to a 1. Let's have a look at the code. So this is nowRail 1.2.1. If we go to the user setup, I've already started to highlight this. So if you're using an NCE system, if you set this value to a 1, then all values will be treated as a long address. If that is set as a 0, then addresses 1 to, that should be actually 127, will be treated as short addresses. So that is the change for the NCE system. Now, the reason I wanted to cover that NCE mod first, not just because I'm likely to forget it, is to do with the fact that it has an impact if you are using the controller, the new hand controller, with an NCE system. Obviously, this unit will work with NCE or DCC-EX. So let's have a look at the mods to the controller. Sorry if it's looking a little bit dark, it's just the way I have to set the lights up Otherwise, my desktop lights shine on the screens and you cannot see a thing on the video. Now, the good news is that the updates are purely software. So if you've already built one of these units, and I know quite a few of you have now built them, you don't need to worry about any extra hardware. Now, I'm going to use the if you like, the breadboard version to show you some of these features. So let's start with that. So at the moment we have a Loco. You can see that I've got a name in here that I've just made up, and it's got an address of 103. Now, if I want to add a consist, what you now do is you go to change Loco, select your Loco that you want to be your main Loco. So select that one, and then you can see at the moment this is highlighted because I've already got a consist set up. If I go to set consist, I then see a list of all the Locos that I've got on the system. Obviously, I've only got a few on here for testing. The ones that are highlighted are now instantly part of the consist. I can clear the consist by clicking the clear consist button, and then I can obviously select some new Locos to put into the consist. Now you will notice on the left hand side there is an R, and I can sort of set or unset it. It's either got an F when it's unset or R when it's lit up, and that stands for forward or reverse, because obviously if you've got two Locos, if you tell them both to run forwards, one may be reversed. If it's been on a turntable or something like that, it's just facing the other way. So this is the simple system that allows you to set the direction of the Loco in the consist. Now you'll notice that I can set the direction even if it's not in a consist. So if I have Loco 1131 in the consist, when I take it out of the consist, it keeps that R, so that if I then want to put it back in the consist, it continues in its reverse direction as I set it up. And it's as simple as that. I can now exit that and go back to the main screen, and now when I control Loco 0103, all those other Locos in the consist will receive the same speed control. So that's the first of the new features. The second feature is something that just saves me time, especially when you've got multiple controllers. So let's go to change Loco on this left hand one, and you'll see that I've only got 3 Locos stored on this. If I click on this next slot and select it, what I am now able to do is go to change Loco on my other controller. I'm going to pick this weird one here. I'm going to select that, and then what I'm going to do is press the RX button, and on this controller I'm going to press TX. Now you'll notice immediately that this controller has now received the transmission of that Loco's number and its name, and I can now select that, and you'll notice not only has it passed over the Loco's number and its name, but it's also passed over any functions that are set or unset. So the goal of this is if someone brings a new Loco along to your club and you've got 5 people who are using one of these controllers, one person can enter the details onto their controller. Everybody else can just pick an empty slot, press their receive button, and the first person can transmit all the Loco data across, and everybody then gets their controller updated. This is because I'm lazy and can't be bothered to be endlessly typing in data to controllers. Now, one other thing while we're looking at the controllers, for the eagle-eyed, you may have noticed that the times and even the day on these 2 units is out of sync. Now, that's not a fault with nowRail. That is because my master clock happens to be on my layout that is out in the garage and is freezing cold. So these two units are running without a master clock, so they're just keeping their own time. So there's not a fault with them. That's just because it's freezing outside. So the updates, as you can see, are fairly simple. All the other features continue as they were before. You can actually see some of the modifications that Rob made. This is running an older version of nowRail. You can see how he has, if you like, set the writing slightly better on the screen. There's a lot of subtle changes that he made. So once again, thanks to Rob and the other testers that help so much with the nowRail system. Right, how to download the controller. Go back to the nowRail page, go down to the touchscreen controller link. This will bring you down to the videos. There's the first video on how to use it and some information on, obviously, how to build it. There are the pinouts. There is a circuit diagram. You can download, there's the project file there. This is the code, and somewhere around here there is a circuit diagram as well that you can download. So everything is available. It's pretty simple. These are the pinouts for the EEPROM. If you're using the EEPROM, you'll need to go to the EEPROM link. And one other thing, when you are buying the screens, make sure that you go for an ILI 9486 with an FT6236 touch system. The FT6236 is the capacitive version of the screen. If you see a screen that has, if you like, a little probe that comes with it, that will be a resistive version, and don't get that one. I have built a version of the touch controller that uses that, but the 3D case, if you want to 3D print the case, again, just click on this link and it will take you over to the Colts 3D site, and it's a free download to get the file. There's even the files in there that I use to make it so that you can make your own modifications. I think that's about everything to do with the screens. As I said, get the 9486. There is also a 9488 that works, but the important bit here is make sure it has that FT6236 capacitive touch screen mounted on it, because it works so much better. So I think that's about it for this video. Quite a short one, but as you can see, the nowRail controller now has consisting. It has the ability to transmit Loco data between the various controllers, and there are some little tweaks if you're using the controller with the NCE Cab Bus. So I hope that's been useful to you, and any questions, please either email me off the Digital Town site or leave a comment below the video on YouTube. I think that's everything for this video, so I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.